Am I the jerk? Story 1. Am I the jerk for refusing to give any of the money my late father gave me before his death to his widow and other children? I, 33M, was estranged from my father for over a decade. It had been a very long time coming when I did finally decide to become estranged at 20. I had already moved out when I was 17, and I had made sure to limit my contact with my father before ending all ties between us. A lot of this had to do with the decisions he made while my mom was terminally ill and after her death. This ranged from trying to sleep with mom's sister while mom was still alive, to yelling at my mom while she was sick for being so sick, to burning several family photos of us in the days after mom died. He also sold my mum's easel, which she'd had most of her life, and was sentimentally valuable to not just me, but my aunts and uncles also. I was 13 at the time. My dad ended up damaging a lot of mum's stuff when he met his second wife and moved her in. To move her in, he moved my mum out. In the process, a lot of harm came to mum's things. My aunts and uncles took them and stored them, and we went through them when I was 20. I was completely no contact with my dad until his death almost a year ago. Even when I was informed he had transferred a lot of money over to me and had put my name on the deed of a family vacation home he and my mom had owned prior to her death. That was the biggest chunk of everything he owned. He never told his wife as now widow. He also didn't own the house they were living in and that we had all lived in prior. It was his friend's house. I was never sure how it worked, but he never paid for it while I was living there. 3 years for me. After he died, a letter was sent to me where he told me he had given me all of that, so it was mine outright, and because he wanted to make up for his mistakes in a small way. His leaving me with so much meant there was basically nothing for his wife and the other children they had, only what he had in joint accounts and no property. It was all legally binding. His widow attempted to sue for a fair share of my father's assets, but her case did not go far because it had been handled prior to his passing and was 100% legally mine. I didn't go to the funeral or anything, so I was surprised to hear from her, and I still don't know where she got contact info for me, or my father for that matter. She told me I should be looking after my family, and I should want better for the children she and my father shared at least. She made it clear she expected me to want a relationship. I told her I did not, and I did not consider her children my family, because her late husband stopped being my family a long time ago. She said it wasn't fair that I could be so cold to my flesh and blood, and that they got screwed over by their father and then by me. She said I owed them something. I told her I didn't. I ended the call and blocked her. But she reached out to me through social media and called me selfish and cruel and how I had no morals. Am I the a-hole? Story 2. Am I the jerk for not handing over my wedding dress to my daughter since it would need to be altered? I have a very nice wedding dress, which my own mother made for me, so I have a big attachment to it, especially since my mum passed away. I personally do not sew, never was good at it. I have 2 daughters. One of them has always loved my dress. She is going to get married next year. She asked me if she could use my dress. My daughter will not fit into the dress. It would need to upsized multiple sizes. This basically would be cutting the dress up and adding panels. It wouldn't be the same dress. I told her no. This caused a huge argument. She's pissed. I won't allow her to upsize the dress, and I am leaving it to rot. I told her my decision was final, and I don't want my dress to turn into a new dress. She thinks I am a huge jerk. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for letting my father's ex meet my baby before him and his current girlfriend? Over a decade ago, my father dated Nina for 4 years. I was a teenager at the time, and we hit it off. After they broke up, she bonded with my mom and eventually became a family friend. My father was aware that me and my sister were still close with Nina. He didn't like it, but he knew he couldn't stop it. He's been dating Polly for 4 years. I don't mind her, but we're not close, and I don't love spending time with her for various reasons. I had my second baby 3 weeks ago. When my eldest was born, I had a lot of people who wanted to meet him at the hospital, which became very overwhelming very quickly. So this time, my husband and I decided we would make better efforts to control who visited. When I started labor, my father let me know he was out of town for work and wouldn't be able to come see me at the hospital. He asked if Polly could come on her own, but she's weird about babies and made me very uncomfortable when my son was born, so I told my father I preferred she waited for him to return. I was in the hospital for 3 days after my daughter was born. When Nina called to congratulate me, I ended up inviting her over, as she worked nearby and was very helpful during my pregnancy. She agreed and met my baby the day before we went home. My father and Polly came to my place and met my daughter a little more than a week after she was born. Later, they started talking to my son, he's 4, who mentioned Aunt Nina had seen his baby sister at the hospital. They both left about an hour later. After the kids went to bed, my father confronted me about what my son had said. He said he was offended I'd allowed his ex to meet my baby before him and his girlfriend. Apparently, Polly was very hurt as well. I told them I didn't mean to offend anyone, but I had the right to choose who visited me after a major medical procedure. I don't think who gets to meet my baby first, which wasn't Nina, it was my mum this time, is a big deal. I also reminded them of the reasons I didn't want Polly to come on her own. My father is still offended that Nina met my daughter before he did. I understand where he's coming from, which is why I'm doubting myself. Story 4. Am I the jerk for telling my wife no to getting rid of our dog? When we got married about 6 years ago, we decided we both wanted a dog. I'd always talked about it, and my wife really wanted one, even though she knew she was allergic. Not to the point where she couldn't breathe, but just like itchy nose type allergies. We got a lab puppy that was the cutest thing, turns out. She's the best dog too. My wife loved the dog, and it was like her baby for the first few years. Then we had kids. We love our kids so much, but the dog definitely did not get as much attention after the kids came into our lives. The past few years, she's grown distant from the dog and complains about its shedding, how it would be easier to not have a dog, and now claims she's no longer a dog person, and states, for her health, she wants to get rid of the dog. Am I the a-hole for saying no? Story 5. Am I the a-hole for laughing at the name my sister chose for her baby? For context, I, 28F, attended a family dinner with my mom, dad, and sister, 26F, yesterday. My sister is due to give birth soon and decided this dinner would be the perfect time to announce the name she chose for her first child. My sister has always been obsessed with aesthetics. Her whole house is beige and rather depressing, if I'm honest. The whole nursery she built for baby is beige and grey and will not accept colorful gifts for the baby. I can tell her husband hates it, but he won't admit it. Now here is the issue. I am very prone to laughing at inappropriate times. I am autistic and find it hard to filter what I say and my emotions, which can lead to me reacting to things in ways that can offend people. I didn't think this would cause issues until she revealed the name of her baby. So, we are all done with our dinner. We are looking at my sister, as announces her baby will be named Brooklyn Willow Rose. I burst out laughing and said, "You cannot be serious." I am now banned from all family dinners. Is the name really that bad? Was I really a massive a hole? Update. I called my sister and apologized. I did realize what a jerk move that was. I said I was sorry for laughing, and I apologized for using my mental disability as an excuse and offered to treat her to lunch as an apology. She was reluctant to forgive me, but she did, which I am thankful for. She said she was hurt by my actions, which I understood, but was willing to look past it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.